Welcome back, McCastle here. We're going to come out under here. We've got our storage room where we're going to set up our sorting system today. So we'll get some pipes set up and I'll go ahead and get under here and get this cleaned up first, and then we'll show how we're going to set. So first I'm going to show you in creative kind of the setup here, and then we'll go through and probably do a time lapse of me putting in the different pipes and whatnot underneath here. That way you don't have to watch that whole process in real time. So I'll see you in creative. Here in creative, we're going to take a look at how this item sorting system is going to work. So in here I've got some cobblestone, wood, sand, gravel, and glass. And over here in this diamond I've got it filtered out so that they go to the different chests. And essentially what this is it allows for items to come in. Anything that's in the filtered system goes into the corresponding chest, which gives me 4 output options. And then the last one, so the fifth is the input, the sixth is the output of anything else that doesn't match that filter criteria. We'll go down here. So if I come in here, we're actually going to do this real quick so we can see. If we turn this on here, see the cobblestone starts coming down, and it goes that way, wood that way, sand, gravel. The glass didn't have a filter, so it came here. Now as the cobblestone's just coming in, it'll come in here. So essentially this kind of system of in, 4 options, and anything that doesn't match goes out, right? Now, the way that I've got it set up in my warehouse is they are all going up from one filter and up through different cords. So you have to look at how we're going to filter that. So take a look at that. So here we are using lenses to essentially color code these as they go out of this diamond pipe so that they can follow this vertical track up. So essentially this allows me to create my storage room using these chests stacked vertically, and I can hide the pipes behind a wall. Now I'm using storage crates from Industrial Renewal, but essentially this works with any storage device, and this is kind of how I had them. I usually have them arrayed as a stack of 4 chests so that I can filter out items here. Right, so again, what this does is the items will come out of here, they'll come in here. If it's on the filter list, it'll get sent out whichever side. And I've got these lenses which color the items as they go up, which I just realized I need to fix this, otherwise it won't work. You gotta make sure that these iron pipes are in the right direction, otherwise they'll get stuck. Okay, so let's check this out. Send this out. Sand will come out yellow. You see it actually paints them, and what that does is as soon as it comes to a filter of that color, it will pull it out. Now I've got the black colored items coming up. It will skip each of their colors until it finds one that it matches, and I see that I messed up. I used red here instead of green. So we can fix that. Come here, find the green filter, and you break this, and use green. Now if I dump this wood back in here, when it comes up, it should go into the green. Perfect. So essentially what this does is allows me to hide my sorting system beneath the floor, right, as you saw me assemble that, and pump it up through, and it will filter out into its correct chests. I mean, I could, simplify this even more, right? I could, there's 16 different colors, so I could line up 4 of these filters in a row, and then send everything through one pipe and or 16 different chests through one pipe like this if I wanted to, but it works out nicely how I've got it. Anyway, so that's how you do that. The nice thing about this is you can use the filters, or you can use the Daizuli pipes if you so desire, but this works pretty easily for this. So, but to set up the to create the filters and the lenses, we need to have an assembly table. So we'll need to go create a spot for that in our world and make it, but we will need power, in fact megajoules. Here you go. You can see as the glass doesn't hit any of those filters, comes straight through. So I'm going to show you the power plant we're going to set up, and then we will go set it up in our world. So we'll see you back there. So here's a quick setup of what we're going to do inside of our world. These are kind of some repeatable power modules, if you will. Each layer we can just recreate, but essentially what we've got is a pump with an infinite water source, pumping in to fill these combustion engines with coolant, and then our fuel coming in and going to all of them, right? And then I've got these set up with some gates and some wires, which we also need an assembly table to make. So I can just flip the switch here. It turns on all of the engines, right? Which is powering this quarry actually quite fast. Probably need to switch out those crappy Stirling engines I've got for this setup in the deep dark. Anyway, I'll show you how I set this up when we set up in our world. And first off, we need to kind of build a temporary version of this, that just to get the power we need for the assembly table. Well, sorry, not the temporary version. It'll be this minus the gates and wires because we need the assembly table, but we can use just a lever on the back there if we need to, right? So that's what we'll do temporarily to get this assembly table set up, and then we will finalize our power plant with the nice wires and everything. Anyway, I will catch you guys back in our world, and we'll get started setting this up. So I went ahead and set this up and showed you brilliantly how to do it, and of course did not hit record apparently. So I apologize for that. So we'll go through. I know we just showed this how this works, so we don't need to do that, but we used oil from our little cart here. Now that will use residue or produce residue, and so I went ahead and set this up and brilliantly showed you how to do it, and of course so brilliantly that I forgot to hit record. So I apologize for that, but here's kind of our temp setup for these little lasers, right? And they power this assembly table, and we'll go ahead and show you how that works real quick. Let me grab one of you, and yeah, I kind of got through almost half an hour's worth of recording when I realized I wasn't recording. So let's grab some glass here. We need stained glass for this to work. And we'll go ahead and create some lenses and filters. I've already set up some of them below, but we'll go ahead and show you what I did there. So come in here, wait for this water to fill back up everywhere. We'll come in here and we'll put these in here and some of these, and ooh, they're too hot, so let's find ones that this one right here. So turn that on, and this and this, and it'll start making that. And again, once we set this in a permanent location, we'll have it so it's piped up from below. But now that we are out there, we'll turn this back off so it can keep cooling off. And yeah, so this here is where our pump is. It's got an infinite water source, got two water sources on the side, and it is constantly pumping in to this here. I set up two layers. I'm going to move this to its own location and create more layers up to create a power tower here. And we'll set up the fluid processing later, so we're not just using crude oil. which isn't as efficient and also produces residue, which we can use to make pipe sealant, which is what we need to make the fluid pipes. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but fluid processing will allow us to distill the oil into better fuels that we can use to run this power. With that, this is the power plant again. It has that central column of the gold kinesis pipes with the wooden ones set up to it to pull the power out of the combustion engine. Now, because I needed the power to run these lasers, I don't have the gates and the wire set up yet, but now that I can set those up, we'll go ahead and produce some wire and we'll set this up so that I can turn it on and off. I plan on having kind of a control center where I can turn different machines on and off throughout the entire base, which is pretty cool. Pretty excited about it. So that, let's come back over here. Let's actually take the four-wheeler here. Off-road a little bit back here. Ooh, not too right. Alright. We'll come back down here. So, actually set this up backwards. So, we'll go ahead and we'll move this. Excuse me. There we go. So, we need this. This. Actually, we're going to leave these here. So what this system does, again, everything will be coming through here, and if it can't get filtered out through one of these, it'll get to the end, have nowhere to go, which will dump in this chest, which will then allow me to see which items don't have a sorting filter set to them, and I can then apply them to the appropriate spot. Anyway, so if we come here, we're going to actually change this out here. That's not what I meant to do. I'm going to put this here, and this, and obviously this isn't the final setup for this. But let's come in here. Pipe pulsar on here. Now what I've gone ahead and I've filled all these in with this dummy list, which if we look in here, I have it here. All it is this Tinker's Construct stone rod, which I renamed, and then changed this to require an exact match. So enchantment, names, and store data have to precisely match. So essentially what I did by filling all these options up and leaving the green and the yellow open, that allows for inflow and outflow of these different filter spots or sorting spots, is they'll come in, because it's got a dummy thing, it'll say, oh, it doesn't match, and it'll keep going. Unless, of course, I dump this in, and then it'll randomly pick one of the ways to go. Anyway, so this will allow all items to come through. If it doesn't have somewhere to go, it'll zigzag all the way through and end up back in the chest. If it does have somewhere to go, it'll get filtered into that area. So I haven't set up all these filters and lenses quite yet. So let's just show you real quick what that looks like. Now, I needed to be careful because you have to make sure that what you're filtering out here matches what you're going here. And like I showed in the creative world, is similar to these ones that are going up and going to the upper tiers, right? All four filter onto one pipe, and you make sure that these iron pipes go to the right, or open to the right area. Anyway, so adding all four filters doesn't necessarily matter where they go here, as long as they match to the correct storage location at the top. But the rest of these, I split them into two. So I needed to make sure that the two here match the two here. So I had to be a little bit careful of that. Like you can see here, I've got magenta and yellow. magenta, and yellow, right? So I made some more of these gray lenses and gray filters. So if we come all the way here, I was just filling in. So I put the gray ones on the bottom. So I put the lens here. So as the atom comes through, it'll get colored and it'll filter through, right? And then it'll go up to one of the 4 ones. And we go here, also one of the 4 ones, so it doesn't matter. But here, I need to make sure that it is on one of these 2 boxes here. Which if I come here and match kind of what I did gray on this side, just so it's consistent. So basically I need to make sure gray is right there we go. So if these come in here, if it matches the list or whatever blocks I put in this, this black line here, it'll pull them down, color it gray, come up here, and it'll go through the gray filter. So let's show that off. I've got set up here stone and cobblestone. So, that's not good. As you can see here, I've got cobble and I've got stone, respectively. You see, stone is stone, and I made sure it was type and material. So I did just type. It would do dorite, andesite, marble, any type of stone. If I just did material, it wouldn't match either. So type and material is what I needed for that, and then cobble I did similar with the compressed stuff and whatnot. Anyway, so if I come in here, do I have any cobblestone right there? So let's say I take this cobblestone and let's say this piston. I'm on the wrong side. This is the output. So it won't work. Sorry. Come over here. We'll flip these so that it goes first. If I hit this, it'll pull the piston out and it won't match anything and it'll zoom along, right? And same with the cobblestone. It doesn't match in here because those are all dummy. So it'll actually zoom along, zoom along, zoom along. So here is the piston. It should make it all the way through and get dumped back in this chest because I don't have any filters that are set to the piston, right? And the cobblestone should pass up everything else as well until it gets here to the end. So we'll check here. You should see piston go through and the cobble will go through the magenta. And as you can see, it gets colored magenta. It passes past the yellow filter and goes right into the magenta filter and up into this chest with cobblestone. Anyway, so that's how this will work. Is I will set up all these different filters in all these different spots to match whatever thing is above. And these ones that are all 4 go into the one. They basically go up the rack. Here, I'll show you at the top. They'll go up and they will. Ooh, it's night. Let's sleep real quick. Don't need any creepers spawning in. Anyway. So you can see I've double layered these up. I like the look of it. I've left plenty of room on the sides here that I can fill in some different chests or things along the edge if I need additional storage, in which case I can pipe up from there. Anyway, so as you can see here, those come up here, they'll go up and they will go in between the layers here, and they will go into the boxes above. And I decided to do it below here instead of above, just because I like the aesthetic of that a little bit more. But I'll have to go in and add plugs anywhere where I don't want it to go to the ones below, which is fine. Let me do this up, and then I'll create some covers to cover these up so it doesn't look too bad. But Turned out okay. Could have probably thought that through a little bit better so the pipes weren't exposed, but if I really cared about it, I could cover them up. But I think it's fine. I think it looks nice. Anyway, so that's the item sorting system. I'll come through and I'll finalize this and set up a proper dump chest and whatnot, but in a maintenance ladder that allows us to get down here instead of having to run around the building. And then this is essentially over here. Look at the map. Between here is kind of where I plan on setting up kind of a train yard where any trains coming from different farms or different oil places or whatever can come in here. I'll note either their cargo or their liquids. Liquids will get piped over here to our liquid processing facility, which will be across this side, or go to a either the storage or like a ore processing facility, grinding and stuff. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Sorry that it was just showing showing what was done more than showing how to do it. I apologize for missing that recording and for taking so long to get another video up again. Wasn't sure if I was going to record or not because it's kind of sad that the other world got corrupted, but this new one's off to a good start, and I think we've got some good things planned here. I've kind of got away from the tiered system like I'd kind of planned, and we're just going to kind of build as we go, and our goal will be to get all these different facilities set up, and then we'll get off into space, I think is where our kind of goal will be, to visit all the planets. But anyway, thanks you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time.